This is the setup I've got going for testing fuel pressure on a 1992 Polaris 650 RXL, which is an earlier iteration of their EFI machines, one of the first EFI snowmobiles Polaris came out with. So basically the issue that I was having was that my pressure would build when the fuel pump came on, hit 40, and then it would leak down sometimes really quickly, like right back to zero. Other times it'd fall to like 10 or 20 psi. Sometimes it would leak slowly. It was all over the place, so you can't really describe it. So the setup I've got going is, here's your supply line. It leads to the pump. This is low pressure from here to here. And then you have the pump, outlet of the pump. And in this assembly here, there's a check valve. And then you come all the way up to this filter, which is like an automotive style filter, up to this T where I have my gauge. And this isn't usually on the machine. It's just straight to the rail. Up into the rail, across, into the regulator. You have all of your injectors, 3 of them. They can leak, I guess, leak straight through. So I've got these pieces of paper down there just to see if there's any gas on them. Regulator goes into the, well, it should be a return line back to the tank, and it is in the sled, but not here. What the regulator does is if it senses over 40 psi, it just allows gas to flow back through, so you're not over pressurizing the system. So I've got my electrical set up here, just 2 wires. I've got the meter in line on the hot and the gauge, so I can read that at the same time. Everything's hooked up to a battery. So I'll give it some power now, and we can see the amp draw and watch what pressures it gets to. There we go. So when it hit 40 there and stayed, a little bit of gas came out into there. So the regulator's working, and we can see that we're not losing pressure through this return line, which, I mean, you would see it because this is currently under about 38 psi. So no leaks there. I don't see any fuel, or didn't hear any spraying or anything on the paper in there, or in the throttle bodies. So I think the injectors are good. I don't see any leaks on this portion or anything, which is good because this is all high pressure. But I did notice this in the previous one. If you pull, I gotta get this one off. If you pull that off, so this is your low pressure side now. Of course, you flip that, you're gonna have a bit of leakage, just what's coming out of the elbow. That drip does slow down, but it does stay consistent, and we do eventually lose a little bit of pressure. So I think either that's within a specification, it's leaking back a little bit, it's gonna happen, the check valve's not perfect, or maybe the check valve's failing and I'm having it, fluctuate. So that's the setup.